Hello, hello. I am Melissa with MJH Designs, and today I'm coming in here to show you how I would take a painting that is super simple that I do for sipping paints. I have to keep them simple for that purpose because, an hour and a half to 2 hour sip and paint, you don't want it to last any longer than that. Everybody gets tired and bored and they got to get home to do other things. And most everybody there are beginner painters and they are there to have fun, relax, and enjoy their time and not be super serious about creating art. So I have challenged myself, which I had a hard time designing sip and paint style paintings because I get too involved in the process and I just want to do this and I want to do that and so the girls have challenged me as well to scale it back to keep it simple and not too crazy. So I've been trying that and I did it. It bothers me, so I still want to add more stuff to it. This cardinal painting here came out really pretty. It's really adorable. Everybody loved it, and there's nothing wrong with it. But it's not my style. So I want to play with it today, and I want to show you how you can take something and change it up and make it, fit you better. Like if you take a lesson from somebody, don't necessarily think you've got to follow that lesson to a T. Change up, look, take what you need from the lesson, change it up to fit you and make it look more like you instead of them. So if you took my lesson and you did it just like me, then you're just going to look like me. You're just going to all right, somebody's saying they can't hear me. Anybody else having problems hearing me, please let me know. You can hear. Okay. Maybe go out and come back in, Brenda, and see. Like I can't even see comments over here unless they pop up. Let me pull you up right here so I can see, or either you can tell me if any comments come up.
Hey, can you turn where you can you need to turn where the
The
card
cardinal. Me, not me. The right there.
part of the painting is cut off on the screen whenever you take you off.
Hold on. Technical difficulties. Right here. Is that better?
You need to bring it
To my right?
there you go. Now
I
the
didn't
whole painting's on
move
the
it.
screen.
Right, yeah. I just put it in there. Okay. So I don't know where I was in that process of talking. Now I'm lost. But um whenever you take a lesson from somebody, take what you need, leave behind what you don't, and you don't have to replicate it to a T to be identical to them. And you don't want to. You shouldn't probably. You want to be true to who you are and do your own thing. So just, take the parts that you love, but don't be upset if your true self comes out in the painting because it's going to happen. I've taken classes before. And I'm not just like those people. Although sometimes I would like to be, my true self comes out. And so I let it combine and let it be a mixture of the two. So I'm just going to show you basically how I would change this painting up, add to it, jazz it up, make it my own. Um, and like I said, it's really pretty just like it is. There's not a thing wrong with it. It's just not my style. So I want to play with it and take y'all along for the journey. Let's see. It's bugging me because I don't have y'all on the screen. So I'm going to pull you up real quick. 1 second. Make sure that volume's down. All right. Good morning, Jane. Cardinals look Cardinal looks fine. Yes, it does. It looks fine. Um, I like it. I don't have a problem with it other than it just is too plain Jane for me, the background, most importantly. The Cardinal itself is fine. I just want to jazz all this stuff up here in the background. So what I think I'm going to do first, y'all let me know if you have comments, questions, or whatsoever. I think I just want to come in and add some more little branches here and there. Little nubs. And the background color, I definitely want to play with some. I get carried away painting, then I forget. Mm, am live on video. Are you seeing that? Do I need to move the camera any to you see all the background stuff in my room? Let's see, making a little knobby nub right there. And when you're doing branches, sometimes we forget that we can pull these branches up and go like to that branch and then come behind it and pull it on out. They can be going um, all different directions like that. I could have one coming off of here, stop there, like going off in a distance. They shouldn't all look the same. I'm just trying to talk to myself and y'all at the same time about that kind of stuff. Mm. Sometimes less is more, and I like it when other people do stuff like that, and they keep like the background flat. I say this all the time. I like it when other people do it, but I have a hard time doing it. So I like to just come in and play. And this is not just trying to revamp something to make it your own, but with your own artwork in general. Play with it, push the boundaries, see how far you can go with it, and just play around with it without any expectations of it being anything in particular, because you'll probably be surprised and happy with some things and then some things not, but it's just paint. You can just paint right over it and cover it up if you don't like it. I'm just looking at it real quick through the screen just to see if I need to That's a helpful tip I can give to you is to always look at your paintings through a screen because you see it from a distance. If you're not able to step back from it, you're up too close. You're not going to see it correctly. So, putting it through a screen like your phone screen, I even just hold my phone up in front of it and look through the camera lens. It helps put it to a distance so you can see it better. Some of these sip and paint paintings that I do, I don't actually get to completely finish them the way I'd like to either. So sometimes I just like to come back home and jazz them up a little bit because I'm walking around the room helping everybody and uh don't get to do it exactly the way I'd like. One thing I would encourage you is to play around with some color and don't expect normalcy. I mean, if you like to paint like photorealism and stuff like that, then I'm not talking to you because that is not what I like to do. But some people do, and that's totally okay. But I like to add color surprises here and there, and just play with color and see how far I can go with it. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, and I'll cover it back up if it doesn't work. It's just paint. It's acrylic paint. It's very easy to paint over. Um, but the only way you're going to know is if you play with it. So, like on these tree branches, I'm about to throw in some color in here. And you may sit there and saying, "Oh my gosh, she's crazy. She's lost her ever loving mind." And sometimes I have. I love layers and layers and layers. So the more layers, the better to me. Um, it gives it more definition, depth, um, more interest when you're looking at something. It keeps the person's eye on it longer. No, I meant when you were moving. Oh, you were talking about when I was moving it. Okay. All right, so I'll put normal colors. Now, when we go into the challenge, this that's coming up in March, there's one prompt in particular. This may help you with that some too. There's one prompt in particular that says, do it. I'm not going to tell you what the prompt is, but it says don't use normal greens and browns that you would automatically think of using when you're doing this prompt. So you got to think outside the box. What else can I do? How can I change it up and make it different? Always be asking yourself that. So I'm going to take some other colors, like maybe a lime green, because like I said, I love color. I love it being everywhere. And if I had started this painting on my own to paint for myself, I would have started with a color underneath because that helps you out as your supporting actor in a play. It's um your helping hand. It helps you not to have to cover every square inch of a canvas. So let some of that undertone show through whenever I'm painting. I don't try to cover every square inch because that defeats the purpose of starting a painting like that. I love surprising little elements like that shining through. So since I did not do that with this painting, I'm just going to come in here and right along the edges and wherever it lands really. If it's on a tree branch, it's on it. I don't care. I don't sweat that kind of stuff. I just let it land where it's going to land really. And It doesn't have to make sense. That's what you just got to be able to let go and just play and see what happens. Everything has to make sense. Not in my world, anyway. So I'm just putting down some green. I don't know if you can see that, the lighting. You have a room full of windows. You think that's a good thing, but sometimes it's not when you're trying to do videos. Can you see all that green? Now, had I done a base coat up under here, and when I did that blue background, I wouldn't have had to get right up on the edges at all of the branches. I would let some of that show through. And it could possibly have been red, green, orange, who knows? I change it all up depending on what I'm doing. I wipe that off. I'm gonna grab some bright yellow. Kind of just go right along with it, with that green. And my light's coming from this side over here, so the more yellow, it's gonna look like there's more light. So I'll kind of put it on the tops of some branches here and there. A lot of this is just playing, and you know, instead of saying, well, how do you know what color to use? I just know what I like, and that just comes from experience of painting, and it comes from having playtime. It's all about playtime and not worrying about if it's correct or if it's what somebody else is gonna say is correct, or if we're gonna get the approval of somebody else. I heard or read something somewhere about perfectionism, and it's not anything other than worrying about what somebody else is going to say. If we can let go of that and just do your own thing and play with it, you'll come out better, I think. Can you see that color around the edges now? It looks washed out when I'm looking at the screen, so I can't tell if you can see it or not.
You see the yellow, but I didn't look at the green.
Mm-hmm. So you can do other colors around there too. Like I'm just going to play right now. So, and just show you, can throw some orange in there around the edges too. Not necessarily in the same spot. Um, just wherever it lands, it lands. Wherever it doesn't, it doesn't. And if you get outside the lines and you get into your sky, it's okay because I'm going to add some different sky on top of this. You can see I got a lot right there. While I have this orange, this bird looks pretty good, but I'm going to take some yellow and orange and my red, and I'm going to play with him just a little bit more. And a little more light over here. He looks pretty good. He doesn't need a whole lot. But you see how adding the yellow and the orange with your reds can brighten up that red. And he still looks like a red bird. But he has other colors in there, like pinks and yellows and oranges. Take some more some more burgundy type color that I'm going to put in here. Places in play. I'm also going to put some purple in there. Push that a little bit. Black doesn't have to be black. Black can be blue, purple, brown, blue. Well, I already said blue. So many different things other than black. Grab some blue. Lighten it just a little bit. That blue added on there gives a little highlight, light reflecting on them. Surprise blue every now and then. Mm, maybe I can do a little bit down in here. Show you closer now. Can you see those other colors that I put in there? I don't know if you can or not, because they're kind of dark too, but you see it right there around his beak. You can see that purple, you can see that blue. All right, that's all I'm going to do there. Now I'm going to start coming in with the background. I like to, when I do the background, I like to have a brush, a brush for sure, but a pretty good size brush. I don't want to be nice and neat, trying to get around these things that are already on here painted. I want to touch it. I want to mess it up, and I don't worry with it if it does wipe out a piece of it. Actually, I want to do something else before I do that. But I do allow the background color. If I touch the bird, I don't sweat it. If I touch a branch, I just keep moving. I want to come in first though. Let's add some little berry type flower looking things. I'm going to start with a deeper red. Just start putting some in. Is the angle right? It looks like the angle's off a little bit. Now, normally I get this question a lot. People's like, why didn't you do the background first? Because that goes against everything in my soul. I don't like everything being nice and neat. And so by painting the subject first and then bringing the background in, it keeps me from trying to be nice and neat and everything not touching, and it can just be a little bit more messy, blurred edges. I love blurred edges. And that leads to that whole look by painting the background last. Now, this one, the background was already on here because I've already done this painting and I'm just revamping it. But normally I would just paint the bird. It would have a base color more than likely, and then I'd paint the bird and then I'd do the background last. I feel like it's like an old school way of teaching painting or just painting in general. I think people were just taught to do that years and years ago. But remember, art is subjective. It's whatever you like, whatever you want to do, you get to do. You're in total control. Don't worry about what somebody else is saying you need to do. I'm just wondering, those look too uniform. I don't like that. Looking at it through the screen so I can see it better. So that was a burgundy color. Now I'm going to add, remember I said I like lots of layers. I'm going to bring in a brighter red and just hit here and there. Not all over, just here and there. They don't have to be like little dots. It can be like little blobs even. Anybody have any questions, comments? My comment thing went away on my screen. The red really pops. Hey, Rosie. All right, so I could even brighten that up even more by adding some orange here and there too, but I want to add some yellow to the orange so it really stands out. Still have the red on my brush. Talking to myself and you at the same time. Talk to myself quite often. So this could be even something like cherry blossoms too, in the springtime. Change up the colors. I feel like I've got way too many of these blossoms though. Some of that will change when I start doing the background because I'm going to touch some of them on purpose and wipe some out maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. So it looks fine just like it is. Again, it looked fine at the beginning too. It's all about who you are, what you like. Now I got a lot of stuff to paint around here and I have a really big brush. So if you have been around me at all, you know I don't like one solid color background. I like to use multiple colors. Let's see what I can mix up over here. I'm gonna take some green, some blue. I don't like to mix my paint all the way up either. So by not mixing it up, you see lots of variation of color. And I've got all these colors on my brush. I've got some green, I've got two different blues and some ivory looking color. Now I'm gonna just come in here, start making the magic happen. This is where it all comes to life to me. Backgrounds can be tough. Decisions about backgrounds, not the backgrounds themselves. Decisions about what am I going to do for the background? I have no idea. It's kind of like going out to eat. You can't decide where you're going to go. Now, I feel like that's probably too dark. I'm going to add more of my ivory color over here. Push that back some. Although it works being green too, because you are up in the trees. But you see, I touched some of that red and it actually was not dry and it blurred out into the background, but I don't care. Let's push it in a little bit. You just don't want to create mud. That's the one thing you want to be careful of. And it kind of did right there, but I can always come back over it. Gonna add more of this color. That's not the color I'm going for at the moment, but like I said earlier, I love layers, so I can just put one layer on, come back and play with it. I'm not trying to cover up all this blue either. I'm leaving that blue still peeking through. You may absolutely hate this, but this is what's important. I want you to do what speaks to you and don't try to be somebody else. I'm going to just go ahead and cover up my signature for right now. That back in. And working quickly, you don't have time to worry about things. I think I want more. I don't know. It's not color combo I'm looking for, but I probably need to keep going instead of changing midstream. Doesn't matter though, it doesn't all have to be the same. See how I changed on a dime? You just play until you really like what you have. And don't be afraid. Got red smeared down in there. Now, I feel like I want to put some of that green up in here a little bit, but not that much. When you're first starting out painting, you're gonna have to copy the person. You're gonna have to learn all the basics and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, you're gonna get to where you need to start doing things that come from your own heart and soul. Those little nudges that say, I think this would look good, or I think I'd like to try this on there. That's what you need to listen to. Don't be afraid of taking something like this cardinal and doing it several different ways, to see which way you like the best. It could be done with a brush several different ways, or you could change it up and do it palette knife, mixed media collage, watercolor, whatever you like the best. You're not going to know until you try it. See, I love all that color in that background. That is really speaking to me now. And it all is not the same. Gives it much more interest to me. But remember, we're not all created the same. We all like something different. You may absolutely have liked it better the way it was before I did all this. And that is perfectly okay. I haven't blurred enough of that because it's so wet. I keep smearing it, but I did want to blur it, but I didn't want to create mud when I did it. So it really needed to have been dry. The red berries and stuff, they need to be a little bit dry because I do like to hit them. It's my favorite too. What's your favorite? That color was coming. Funny. Let me hit it with a hair dryer. Hold on one second. I'm gonna hit these red berries because I do want to touch them. Right, maybe it won't smear so bad now. Rhonda knows me very well. She knows I'm gonna go to gravitate toward these colors every single time, some version of it anyway. I'm gonna lighten it up now one more stage and come in here. And then I'll touch the red. Blur it. Blur those edges. Layers, layers, layers. And I'm not trying to cover everything up. And another hint is hold your brush back here. You have less control and you cannot be a perfectionist when you're holding your brush back here like that. And get rid of some of this muddy look right there. Cut into some of those flowers. Y'all think I'm crazy? I am. I'll be the first to tell you. But y'all must like crazy because you're following me. So you gotta be a little bit crazy too. Tell the truth. All the best people are crazy. This was super dark down in there, but it's okay to have dark areas and then light areas too. I have to remind myself of that. Everyone knows about to add polka dots somewhere to mine. I love it. I love polka dots too. And that could be part of your style, your brand and everything else. People know that you're going to add that. That's going to be there's an artist that I don't know her legitimate name, but she's Stripey Arms. Can look her up. You can probably just look her up from Stripey Arms. I think that is like her brand or something. She paints these girls and they all have striped arms. And just in every painting that she does, that's going to be part of it. Layer, layer, layer. I don't try to blend it. I don't like it blended. I like it to be, I can't see what I'm doing over there on the side. I'll have to do that later. I like it to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. We were having this discussion the other day at a paint party about side edges of your paintings. Um, one person said that she had followed people who they all paint the sides one color. It's crazy, but I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom because I'm going to lay it right back down on its bottom and it's all going to get messed up. But, I do crazy things like that. Anyway, and she thought that, most people do that. And a lot of people do. A lot of people will come in and paint their edges a solid color. But not everybody does that, and and you don't absolutely have to. I know plenty of people who paint around the edges of their canvases. I do both at times, and it all depends on my painting, my canvas, and if it's gonna be a thin canvas and gonna get framed, like this would be really cool in a funky frame of some kind, hand built, you know, not perfect, whatever, rustic wood, that kind of stuff. then you wouldn't need to paint your side edges. If I'm doing a chunky canvas, it's all gonna still depend on the painting. Let me show you real quick. Some of these little tiny landscapes that I've done, I have carried the painting on around the edge, and it looks very nice that way because you're going to see it from different angles in the house. But it also looks just as nice having it solid, painted solid. So I just base it on what I'm doing at the time. I also do crazy things on the sides of the canvases. Whatever if it's more whimsical and fun and playful, then I'm gonna do something fun and crazy like that. I just think it fits the painting better. So just like having your artwork, things like that are optional too. You don't have to do something just because somebody else is doing. Take what you like. If you like it being solid on the edge, then you do it that way. And if not, do your own thing. Don't try to think that everybody has to fit into one little mold. Be you, be original, and go your own way. All right, let me see. I need to put, oh, I'm hungry. My signature back in. Kind of got a little big there. This is optional too. Not everybody likes to sign the front. It's totally fine. Some people I've seen sign the side, go right up the side of the canvas, totally optional. And then some do it on the back. Some do both, front and the back. All right. I might could go a little bit lighter with some areas of that. But if you look real close, let's get you close. Let me see if it blurs out. You can see where the paint went on top of those berries. That was my intention. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's not, oh God, I've ruined this painting. It's just part of the whole deal. So don't think everything has to be done perfectly. I would sitting it back. I do like some of that blue showing in there, but every now and then I might take a little small brush with a little bit of this. Just hit in there. I'm not trying to get it covered up. I'm just hitting right in the smack dab center, and I may wipe something out in the process. I may just go right on top of the red. And you can see how it blurs it a little bit. Patricia said, "Is your membership only acrylic painting?" Patricia, it is mostly acrylic painting with a little watercolor and collage work mixed in, and palette knife painting. We mostly do acrylics, but we play and dabble with just about everything. Thank you. And I want to add paper. Yes, Rose, did you see my comment in the PJs and Paint group about your um I wanted to add paper to this too, to be honest, about your magnolia that I just totally think it needs papers in there. All right. So that is it. That's how I take a basic painting. Let me get, I got another one. I did this so many times. I have a million of them laying around. So this is one version there, which is totally fine. I'll back it up. That was the beginning. And then that is my after, where I just jazzed it up a little more, added more colors, more background mainly, added more color to the branches and around the bird's face and feathers a little bit. Just jazzing it up, making it my own. And that's what I encourage y'all to do. Anytime you do a lesson from anybody, take it and make it your own. Don't feel like you have to follow them to a T. I tell you what I love the most Let me flip me back over here. What I love so much is, especially in my PJs and Paint group and Paint Night Monthly, it's for people to take things and make it their own. But when they come to paint parties, it doesn't happen very often. But when people come to my paint parties, where you get the simple paintings, when you come in there and want to change it up and make it your own, that makes me so excited. I love that. Um, Not everybody is there yet to that point to be able to or want to do that. So you follow along with the lesson. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I do get so excited when somebody wants to come in there and change it up and make it crazy or make it different or go with their own colors. I have that question come across sometimes. Do you allow people to make it use their own colors and so forth? And I'm like, yes, I love that. If you're coming to a paint party with me, I love it if you would message me ahead of time just to make sure I've got those colors that you want on hand. Usually I've got an array, but maybe not everything. But also, if you want something so totally different, like I have one person that totally takes hers to a more dark place, all her paintings, and I love that because it pushes me to go there too, where I wouldn't normally do. I'm sorry, my hands are all up in the screen. I wouldn't normally do that either, and I love it because I love to see where everybody's brain goes. So it's the same thing with this challenge coming up. I give you a prompt and you take it and run with it. Everybody's brain is so different. We're wired totally differently. We're going to see things differently. Whenever that first prompt comes across your head, you're automatically going to think something. So what I want you to do, think that thought, but then I want you to say, what else can I do? What else can I do? How can I change it? How can I make it different? And then how can I make it different than everybody else is going to make it? How is everybody else going to do it? And then how can I make it different from that? Like this right here is screaming to add some purple in over here. I don't know why I see purple for some reason. It's kind of like I see dead people. I just see colors. I see colors. I don't know. It's something about these two colors mixing together is making me see that. Anyway, the challenge is coming up, the MJH March Madness. See if I can get that to show. Lynn's gonna put the, if she hasn't already, she probably has put the prompt, the link in here in the comments. That's coming up March 1st. Come join us. Come hang out and challenge yourself. Paint the prompts. You get a prompt every 2 days. And you can paint it however you want to with any medium. It doesn't matter if you're a painter, if you just want to draw it, or if you are a cookie decorator and you want to do your cookies, whatever. Just get creative, get outside your little zone and do something different. Push yourself a little harder and see how far you can go with it. And you may hate it and you may love it. And the only way you're going to know that is to try it and see what happens. All right. Anybody have any questions before I hop off of here? And this is my second time being back, second week coming back on Tuesday and doing something with y'all. I'm excited about it. It takes an act of Congress to get me back here, but I'm here. Let's see. All right, you're welcome, Rose. No, I've not seen it yet. I'll look. All right. Well, get all these notices throws me off. All right, so I'm gonna hop off of here and go and play around with your art supplies, see what you can do, and make sure you go for this challenge and download if you want the prompts ahead of time. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go to that link at all. You can. I will be putting the prompts up every day, every 2 days, and at the very beginning of the morning, like 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, or if you want to get ahead of the game and download it in advance, you can go to that link and get it right now. And you can be thinking and seeing where you're going to go. All right. Y'all have a fantastic day. And what is that? Mary Scott. Very nice. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So y'all have a nice day. I'll talk to you later. Let me know if you have any questions, even if you're watching the replay. Bye.